All right, guys, here we go. I've got to get this thing fixed. If you remember, we harvest our meat chickens here earlier this spring. This quit running. The culprit was the switch is no good. They do offer a switch. I'll tell you about that in the video. But anyway, we have got to get this thing flipped upside down and get it fixed because it's going to go back in service again pretty soon. Well, look who showed up. There's Koda. And Willow and Happy are up top. We have got to make some changes. I need to get a new switch in. Let me show you the switch. If you remember last year when I was using the feather plucker, it quit working when we were doing our chickens. And the switches are no good in here. They don't click. I've taken apart as a plastic tab in there that's broke. Guess what? When you pull this up on the internet, I don't remember. I think it was like $200 or $190 for this thing. Stupid. All right, I'm going to show you what I did to fix mine, and it's working great. Next thing we got to do is go ahead and take this off. I undid the screws, so let me get this off. Here we go. This used to be in here. Remove this piece of wood, remove this housing. This used to sit inside the metal like this. This is no good. So I wanted to do something different. It has to be watertight, all right, because this thing gets sopping wet all the time, drenched. So how do we make, let me find, how do we able to put one of these electrical boxes in here and not fall out without building a wood frame or something on the backside? Okay, how do we do it? Well, I found something. You see that little screw, which you see that screw there, and then there's another screw right here. Oh, come here. You see that flapper right here? And you see that flapper right there. You see that's the end of those screws. Okay. You're able to put this through the hole and turn the screw, but the problem was that screw was made for drywall, okay? This thing is made for drywall to push it through the wall and then you tighten it down. And well, I got a piece of plywood. I cut it bigger. You can see what I did. I cut a hole in the middle of it and I was able to slide that plywood over this. Then I pushed the whole piece in. Then I turned both of those screws. And when you turn both of those screws, this flapper was against this body, rolls out where it's at now and it locks it in there. So I did both screws the same exact way right there. It turns out. So now that becomes solid. Now, let me show you something else here. Where's this thing at? Okay. Well, this one's sealed really good. All right. These knockouts right here were sealed on that down there were open. You can see slots in it. So what I did was, see how I put silicone? It's not silicone, this is rain gutter sealer. It attaches to plastic and metal and wood and everything else. Well, I sealed all four. Two here, two on the other side over there, okay? Now, I had to get wires in, but what I ended up doing is drilling through the bottom, this is upside down, 2 holes to push the wires through. Okay, so we've got 2 holes. They're not tight, so water can't stay in there. They will drip out if it ever did. Now, here's the next big thing I did. Okay, let me show you. Okay, look at this tiny wire. I mean, this is tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny wire, okay? And you're running this big electrical motor. You're throwing that kind of power into it. Here's the electrical cord that came with it, which has heavy-duty wire. Why would you put this tiny wire between this switch and this motor? Why would you do that? You really are making the motor draw harder, pull harder, and work harder for the proper amount of current that goes through here. Okay? So what I end up getting is I found an old extension cord that had the next size up wire. You know, the wire, it's really double the thickness of this. Okay? And on one more thing, this unit was never grounded. It had the ground wire. It was never connected. It didn't connect from in here. When the wire come back through, It was not connected to this. There is no other ground. It was never grounded. So when I put this all through here, I ran a new wire. I connected it. I grounded the switch. I grounded the motor. The motor is grounded to the chassis. So we're good now. Everything's really good. Everything's nice. So we've put this in. I've done that. Now, you're going to say, what are you doing for a cover for that? Well, I found something else I didn't know I had. Pretty cool. Look at this. It is a sealed, watertight seal switch. Yeah. And right now, that's an off. So this is going to go upside down. And you see that knobber on here? It fits inside this. So when that's sitting screwed in, there's your switch. It's off. There's on. Off. On. Perfect. I cannot believe this is simple. Those screws right here will go into this extra hole. There's an extra hole on all your switches. It goes onto here. Alrighty guys, I've got the cover on. We're ready to roll. It's off. I do have the extension plugged in. I think this actually is working better than before. I think it spins faster. When I flip it over, I'll check it into it, but that wire, you're not sending a whole bunch of power through that. I keep pointing that wire to this tiny wire. You're just not going to have enough power to supply to turn that. So that actually struggles, and you make those overheat, and it could even blow breakers. We didn't have a breaker problem, but that's the problem that you could have. You've got to supply everything with the right size wire, and they didn't have that on there. Look at that. Looking good. Now all we got to do is slide that back in. That's self-explanatory. There's only 3 screws where that motor is. It's on the side, and we'll go ahead and put those screws back in. Next thing is I'll probably go ahead and lube all of my little wheels and get them lubed up some. See, make sure they turn. They're in the dirt too. So anyway, there we go, guys. I'll flip this over and I'll turn this thing on. All right, here we go. Let's flip the switch. Works perfect. I feel a lot happier now that I've got that switch done and put another wire in there. I really think it turns faster now than it did before. Do it one more time. There we go, guys. I've had this feather plucker for, what, 8 years, 7 years, somewhere around there, I think. What's the name of this plucker? I couldn't tell you. There's no tags on it. There's nothing. I don't see anything on the box. Now, there's something there. Yeah, it's like in Japanese or Chinese, whatever it is. Couldn't tell you. But there you go. I got this in a Black Friday sale back then, and I'm thinking that this was probably maybe $175, something like that. Good deal. All right, guys, we're going to go. I need to get this thing cleaned up. You'll take it easy. Thanks for watching.